stand right now, and we'll sing "God Bless America" pledge and a prayer. Any other Rick Hess here?
John, where's Rick Smith is our leader. We've got Ricky and the Rick Hets.
Rickless Rick.
Ricky's not here, but the Rick Hets are. Ready? You all know the words to God
bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
excellent.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Our gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to gather this evening and celebrate these technical awards with these students. We ask your blessing on the works that Rotary clubs do around the world. We ask your blessing on these young people we honor here this evening. Protect them as they begin the next phase of their journey through life. We ask, Lord, that you be with our servicemen and women throughout the world who guard our safety. We ask your blessing upon this food we are about to partake. Bless it to our nourishment and each of us to thy service. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
You may be wondering, okay, this is a nice group of people. They're giving me this award this evening. Just what do they do? And what do a lot of people ask, what do we do in Rotary? Well, Rotary is an international organization with a motto of service above self. And so throughout the years, we've taken on different projects throughout the world. Water wells throughout the world. We've built a lot of water wells. We are, as Rotarians, not entirely responsible, but have done a great deal toward the eradication of polio. Now, you youngsters may not even really realize what polio is, but people my age and older know what a terrible disease it was. And we're now down to 2 countries in the world, the 2 stands, Paki and Afghanistan. There are only 2 countries left with polio, and the reason they still have some cases is because of governmental interference. But Rotary and this particular club, because of a gentleman by the name of Lou Piccone, were very instrumental in the eradication of polio. Each year we have a pancake festival. Many of you may have come. We're up to, what, 58 or 57, 58 next year, and we distribute funds to different organizations in the South Hills with that. We have an Interact Club with high school. I don't know if any of you are members or not, but each year they sponsor an Easter egg hunt, and they also have a Halloween party for some kids. So, it's an organization that if you really want to help throughout the community, it's a great organization. So we just wanted to let you know a little bit about what we do, and we're honored that you all are here this evening. And so without any further ado, my notes here from, first of all, I have to thank Mr. Carl Trackelfer back there at the camera. He's the person who's the Genesis keeps this going every year, makes sure we get the awards, and he stays after the teachers to make sure we get the information. And his wife Kathy's up here to play Vanna White this evening. I'll get heck for that later, but anyway. But I'd like at this time to call upon Mr. Fred Piskorski from Upper St. Clair, and to introduce a couple of his students.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I took some notes. Well, I find every year I write notes down, and then I tend to go off the notes, and then end up like a jumbled mess. First, I should thank the Rotary. I've been coming to this since 1999, and every year it's wonderful. I really enjoy this night, and I take these awards really seriously and think long and hard about the students that I nominate for this. I think it's a great chance to recognize some outstanding work that these kids do. Very often, you know, teenagers and high school kids get a bad rap, and when I tell people I'm a teacher, they're like, oh my God, what grade? And I tell them high school, they're like, oh, how do you teach high school? But I answer quite easily. I work with a great group of kids, and I have a lot of confidence in our future based upon the students that we teach. I've had nothing but really great experiences, so I enjoyed this night. So thank you for the opportunity to recognize these kids. So I'll be recognizing 3 students today. I want to talk a little bit about the classes they take. One of them is called a STEAM Design Lab class. That's an application-only class. So students get into that class through an application, and they're vetted through several teachers, and to sort of make the grade, then they're accepted into that class. So I have 2 students, Riley and Mike, are in that class. That particular class goes out and works with industry partners. So we've worked with All-Clad, where the students are solving problems that All-Clad executives and engineers are struggling with in their own company. They give it to our student teams who come up with solutions to them and then present those solutions. And we work with another local company called EA Fab, who work in the steel industry, and it's the same kind of situation. So our students get to work with their executives and engineers working on solving their real problems that are faced in their industry. So it's a really challenging and all-encompassing class. It's a difficult class. I'm thrilled to have 2 students coming from just that class alone. Another class that I'll be representing here is the Advanced Engineering and Introduction Architecture class, 2 different classes there. The Advanced Engineering students work on solving an engineering problem the entire year. So they come up with a problem where I give them a real-life engineering problem, not like a contrived problem, but something that needs solved and built and a solution come up with. So that's the Advanced Engineering students. And then the Introduction Architecture students learn about architecture, obviously, but they design their own residence. So they come up with a concept of a floor plan, lay out floor plans in a functional manner, develop the plans from the foundation to the roof, elevations. Then they take those plans that they developed and they build a model. So when they leave the class, they have a set of architectural plans and a model that represents the house that they've done or they've designed from floor up. So that's the kind of classes that these students are taking. They're not easy classes. They're quite challenging. So I'll introduce Riley first. Riley Kelly. Come on up, Riley. This is Riley's one of the students from my STEAM Design Lab class. So there's not a more eager. Don't be shy. Now she's shy. So there's not a more motivated or eager learner in my classes than Riley. She comes every single day with such enthusiasm and motivation. Gets right to work. Sometimes she's off to work before I even know she's in the class. I'm looking for her to take attendance, and she's already doing work. It's a joy to work with her. She's one of those students, I was telling her parents or her dad here, that we have, oftentimes teachers, of course, are talking to students, and sometimes they're listening, and sometimes they're not. With Riley, you definitely know she's listening. She's a student or a person that when you're talking to her, trying to explain something, she's absorbing it, and it's really refreshing to see someone take such an interest in that. She's a natural problem solver. In every group that she's been in, it's been extraordinarily successful. And these problems are not all engineering in nature, they're across the board, and she's really excellent at that. She said she's going on to be biomedical engineering. No doubt she'll be successful at that. I'm sure she'll be successful in whatever she does. So it's a great pleasure to have your class. Congratulations on this award.
Pictures, here we go, pictures. There's a pulpit.
She's a joy.
Yeah, she's a joy. She's something. Next I'll call Paul McLean. Come on up. So Paul is a student in my introduction to architecture class. So he's one that has designed his own house and built it from the bottom up. What's more, Paul is done. We have many more weeks left to go, and Paul's already been finished for some time. That goes to show the hard work that he's doing. And many students are just finalizing their plans, and they're going to be scrambling to finish a project. He's done it all already, and not only done it, it's done beautifully. I use his house and his plans as an example for everyone else to look at as a model. I consider Paul an old school kind of guy. He'd be equally at home in industrial arts, to technology education, to STEM design lab, whatever. He can handle it all. He works with our woodworking tools in our wood shop, and runs our laser engraver in the Fab Lab. So he's great across the board. He's obviously one of the first to finish projects, and is quick to help other students. He's more like my lab assistant than my student at this point. He's so willing, and I'm so thankful that he helps other students who are falling behind. They often joke that they got Pauled because they get the assistant instead of the teacher. But he's a great kid, and I'm thrilled to have you in my class. Great job. Thank you this
You another one?
Yeah, I got.
You didn't have to worry about that with me. So.
I get shy.
Last but certainly not least, Mike Smith. So Michael's double dipping here. He's not only in my STEAM Design Lab class, but also in the Advanced Engineering class. So I see him quite a bit, and then even beyond that, during his free mods or lunch, he's down still working even more. I think Mike like Clark Kent. Last year I had him as a student, and he's like a good student, of course. I mean, but this year he's like Superman. I don't know what happened, but he comes in and he's like a stud on everything he does. The CAD, he's teaching everybody how to do it. He's built this augmented reality sandbox. I don't know if you've ever heard of one of these, but essentially what it is a sandbox that has a projector going down on it and a computer attached to it that projects topographical lines. Like you've seen a topographical map, or what a site plan with the contour of the Earth is. That's what he's built. So you move the sand around and the contour lines change. What's more, he's able to add water, so you can do water testing. He was testing with lava the other day, so you can make volcanoes out of this thing. It's ridiculous. I don't even understand how it works, but he's built it, and it's awesome. Comes in all the time. Great asset to the class. That's just a perfect example. I couldn't ask for someone else to come in and do a better job. Great job, man.
Okay, good. Thank you.
I guess I'll bring up Steve Stroney. I'll search him up for St.
Well, I'd like to start by thanking the Rotary, of course. This is my second year being able to, nominate students for this award. Definitely the junior in the department there. Anyway, so the first student I'd like to introduce is Yanni Contis. If you'd like to come on up. Not to put him on the spot, but so Yanni's actually been in a couple of technology education classes with us. Last semester he was in Mr. Piskorski's tech design class, that we call it. It's basically transportation systems. He of course excelled in that. He made a CO2 car that was kind of one of the standouts, designed after a Mustang, actually the Mustang that him and his father restored together, which is really cool. Yanni, just great student, very, very quiet, very polite, until you start getting him talking about cars, and then you can't get him to stop. But really, he's a joy to have. He comes down and helps out on his free periods. comes down and helps out the new semester of tech design students. I personally have him in intro to engineering. Right now we're working on a Rube Goldberg machine. You know, those very complex machines you see that do simple tasks. Him and his group are just, you know, stellar group. Love watching them work and solve problems. So it's a pleasure to give you, you know, this award, and thank you.
All right.
And it's only fitting that with the membership that we've taken in this year, that we have a member of the Greek community. Who knows, of course, Manuel and everyone.
The next student I'd like to call up is Michael Debsky. Come on up, Mike. So Michael, he wears a few different hats at the school. First and foremost, I should say, he's a student, excellent student at that. But Michael is one of the few people that is at the school more than the teachers, really. Michael is, of course, like I said, a student, but then he is also involved in our theater program, in the stage crew and you know, stuff like that. And then he is also part of what we call the Smart Desk. So the Smart Desk is a student IT department, essentially, is what it is. Our IT department is, you know, average size, but they could always use an extra hand. So a certain group of students who excel at computers and IT work kind of help out with that. So the reason I bring that up is that's one of the projects that Michael has kind of brought to fruition and we're currently working on. So one of the big issues with the Smart Desk is the students just had no place to work. They were kind of cramped in this little area in the library, which definitely doesn't fit more than one person. And there's, what, about a dozen of you? Eight. There's 8 of them. So can't really all fit at one desk. Anyway, so him and another student got together. They 3D modeled a desk that would fit into an area of the library that they were allowed to use. And then from there, we evolved that and developed plans for it. We're about 2/3 of the way through producing it right now. By the end of this month, it should be installed in the library. He's been helping with the 3D modeling, you know, cutting down the wood, sanding, spraying hardware, all kinds of stuff. It's just always, you know, polite and on the spot. So it's definitely my honor to have you nominated here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations to all of the Upper St. Clair students. Next, we'll call upon Mr. William Wells from Bethel Park to speak about his students and for him to call any other teachers from Bethel if they have.
How you doing?
Good.
Nice to meet you. Well, like Upper St. Clair said, I'd like to thank the Rotary Club for holding this dinner annually. I'm not sure if it was 1999 or when the last first one of these I attended, but I've been at Bethel Park now for 19 years, so I know it's been several of these that we've been to. So thank you for holding this great event, and I know I speak for all of the teachers at Bethel Park High School for hosting this great event every evening. There's a few teachers from the high school that are going to get up and speak. We've each nominated, I believe, one student. And annually we do this, and when, you know, when Carl, is it Trackford?
Yes.
Trackford emails, sometimes it's a challenging decision to make when, you know, we pick one student to decide who it is that we're going to nominate for this award. But as soon as he emailed this year, I knew who the student I had in mind is, and his name is Steve Sell. So if you'd like to come up. Steve has been in my woodworking classes. I traditionally teach woodworking, And he's been in, this is his third year, he's a junior, and actually wants to major in some type of woodworking in either Edinburgh or IUP after he graduates at the end of next school year. But one of the main reasons I picked Steve is because his dedication and his hard work. Not only does he excel in my class, but he excels in all of the classes that he participates throughout the day. But he's also on the swim team, and I don't know how many of you are familiar with swimming, but as a sophomore, last year he qualified for every WPIAL event in swimming, and again this year as a junior he did the same. So he's there every morning at 5 a.m. and doesn't leave until 6 p.m. or later on most evenings practicing swimming, and then also keeping up with all of his schoolwork. So last year he built a rocking chair, this year he built a beautiful end table. And one thing that stood out this year was the end table that he, or I'm sorry, the coffee table that he built, not an end table, he built a coffee table, was he had some plans, but he kind of veered from the plans. It's easy, not easy, but it's easier to take a set of plans and look at the plans and you know, use their suggestions and their measurements and their dimensions to create something. But he was able to think a little bit outside the box and make a nice coffee table, you know, using his own design and his own touch. So it's my honor to recognize Steve for this award.
And to qualify for the WPIAL swimming, we have to honor his parents also, because they probably had to spend the night up in Oakland to get tickets for the
All right, this time I'll introduce Art Smock so he can introduce his student.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wells. Yeah, I appreciate Mr. Piskorski bringing up the years of how many times we've been here. I won't say whether or not we graduated together, but I know Mr. Piskorski, and it's nice to be here and at least meet up with him. It's a little reunion here from college, so hey, thanks again for having us here. I'd like to bring up Jessica Veeman. She's one of my students this year, and my principal's the engineering class. It's part of Project Lead the Way. We have a couple courses we offer at the high school, and I have a lot of fun with it because it's like teaching an honors class. And I have some of the brightest students in the whole school coming down for the class. One of the things I picked with Jessica is very simple. You know, I didn't know when this comes up, we get an email and it's like pick somebody, and I didn't have to, you know, it wasn't a hard time deciding who, because she's always, you know, working very hard and diligent, and she's involved with many different activities. In fact, I'm ready to go here. Where's that clock? Somebody watching the time?
I'll hit the gong when you're ready.
I have a 3-page report here, so we're going to get started here if you want to get home in time. Pens played last night.
There's not a whole lot of typing on stuff.
There's a page. We got
Okay,
I think that's 6 pica right here. Now, some of the things she's involved, well, first of all, I do want to say she wants to be a civil engineer, and I don't know, you know, there's so many different areas of engineering, and it's tough. I mean, she's a junior now, and to come up with an idea this earlier in their career, that's, you know, kudos to her. And some of the things she's involved is, I do want to hit up some of these things and let you know. She was accepted into Carnegie Mellon for early classes, you know, and she's a junior now, so this is this summer. She's been Rotary Tech Club award here last year, you know, and I didn't know that. I don't, you know, particularly memorize the names, but I already picked her, and then afterwards, you know, Mr. Olzak was like, hey, we had this same girl last year. I said, all right, well, she's worthy. Let's do another year. Hey, just so you know, Mr. Wells and Mr. K, she's going to be a senior next year, so if she signs up for your class, maybe she can come back another year. Just put in a good word for you. All right, you hear that? All right. It's on tape. There you go. It's recorded. All right. So the next thing on here, you know, a lot of the scholarships that she was telling me she has is pretty impressive, and you know, I like to see that. As per the class, I'm very excited when I started Design Challenge and the robotics part of the class. You know, we kind of get a lot of physical and mechanical stuff done early in the beginning of the year, and then towards the end we delve into more robotics and electronics and programming. And you know, I try to have different projects and swap out different people and you know, she likes to migrate, to people that are real hard workers, and their team is very successful because of that. And some of the things that I like to see her do are very challenging, and I'm like, good, now you go teach the rest of the class, or you can teach me what you're doing, and then, so that we can help each other out. And it's a lot of fun to be able to have somebody that really cares and works very hard in the class. So without further ado, I'd like to present her award to you. Mr. Olsak can come up next.
How are you doing tonight? I always prepare a speech. I get pretty nervous every year I come up here for some reason. I mentioned this last year, even though I speak in front of people every single day. It must be my peers or something, really. I start to lose my thoughts. Who knows what I might say, so it's probably better I read off the paper. This year I selected Evan Ehrenholt. I've had him for the past 2 years. I had him for a CAD class, and I have him now for an Introduction to Engineering and Design. A few things with Evan. He is a type of student that when I'm in front of the class and ready to teach something, I better be prepared, because he always will have a question, and it's not in a bad way. It's his understanding of what we're discussing in class. He really grasps complex concepts fast. As an example, if we're discussing a math problem, he'll ask specific questions about that problem, which really shows me he has a great understanding of what we're discussing. It's not, we'll just plug the numbers in, and if I get the answer, I get the answer. He really understands like the macro level of a mathematical problem. And so that really shows that he has a really high level of intelligence for what we're discussing, especially if it's new subject matter. A few other things, the reasons I selected him for this award. His work is always done with perfection, done quickly. He's pretty much the pace setter for the class. He's respectful, eager to learn, is inquisitive, displays a great level of understanding of new material, and quickly understands new concepts. He is a sophomore right now, wanting to attend a college for mechanical engineering and robotics. Currently carries a 4.375 GPA. He's involved in the drumline, Titanium Titans robotics team, stage crew, percussion ensemble, science club, youth German club, St. Joan of Arc youth group, National Honor Society, German National Honor Society. He does mention he wants to go into robotics. He has a great interest in robotics, but today I was out on a run and I thought to myself, I don't know if robotics is really the field he needs to be going into. Possibly with engineering, his German background, maybe auto manufacturing. German, remember who got you here? BMW black with black interior. But really, these students here are really a special breed of students, and this is the generation, and these are the students that are going to make America great again. Thank you. Next up is Brad Kay. He can tell you his last name because I can't say it.
You just gonna sit there? All right, so it's Shostovsky. That's the K he couldn't pronounce. So I'm here to honor Noah Gearhart, and I'm really excited to honor him. He's only a sophomore, but most people don't realize that. It was a funny conversation we had about a month ago. We do the morning news every morning, and he's a huge part of that. I think he's so much so that the people that are there didn't realize he was a sophomore. Everybody assumed he was a senior. Whenever they were asking where he was going to go to college, they realized finally that he was actually just a sophomore. So luckily we have him for 2 more years in our school. Noah's in my video production class. He started out last year in the introduction. This year he's in the 2nd level. He's done a great job with all the projects that he's done. Just recently he won the best, what is it?
High school documentary.
Best high school documentary for a film competition in Pittsburgh, for the Pittsburgh filmmakers. It's a really great honor. He's the first one out of any of our schools, or out of our school, to win that award. He did a great job with that. He involved a lot of students, and you can actually see it on our website or on our YouTube channel, which he maintains. He's done a great job in all the classes, but the reason that I really wanted to honor him is because of a software program that he wrote. About 3 months ago, the principal came to me, and he wanted to start sharing tweets. Tweets that students tweet about the school, people would tweet about the school, and we started talking about it and realized that kids can really say things that might not be the nicest. So we tried to find a way that we could monitor these. So we brought Noah into the conversation and asked him his opinion of if there was any software that he knew of. And basically we couldn't find any, so he decided to write it himself. So we have a software that we can moderate tweets, put them out to the school for everybody to see. He has a great future, not only in our school, but once he gets past there. And I'm really excited to see where he goes.
Don't worry, Dad's coming, guys. You'll run into him. Both times. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Can I buy that coat?
He must have family from South Wheeling. What can you say, but what a great group of young people. I think back, 53 years ago, I don't know what we gave the awards for. Does anybody remember what, the technology 53 years ago was probably the best slide rule or something. That's how we all knew the engineering students in college. They had the slide rule on their belt. But just when you think things are not going well, you hear these stories, and our country will still keep moving on because of that. And you parents, grandparents, teachers, all should be proud of these young people, because it's outstanding to think. I mean, you're saying words I can't understand. It's really great because some of the speeches now are on iPhones. You think they thought these guys memorized them? They had their iPhones up there reading them, but it's absolutely outstanding. So congratulations once again to all of you. I think the cog that makes sure this works, Mr. Carl Trackelfer.
Wait, 1 minute before you get away, after this is done, because I got all of the awardees in the outer room by the bookcase there. I'd like to take a group shot.
Nice day.
And we'll put all this out on our website.
Thank you, Mr. Heinerman. My fearless leader, Mr. Heinerman, unfortunately started talking before I could start the camera rolling. And this is
to do it again?
This is our 53rd year for holding this event, which needs to be on there. And I personally want to congratulate all these students for their hard work and effort. And I wish you well as you continue on your journey through life. And I would encourage you to be involved in local communities, work, and stay involved. You are the future. You are the ones that will make the change. And I congratulate you. Thank you.
I just went.
I forgot to thank my wife.
Yes, I already did, by the way.
Okay. Thank you, Brian.
Okay, I won't share that email, no, anyway. Anyway, once again, congratulations. We appreciate you taking the time, and yeah, Herm, we'll get you out so you just watch The Big Bang Theory, okay? But you know, just one more thing. When we go out to different functions, and we the Interact Club comes here, or we go to another club, and they talk about the the student of the month or whatever. When do you kids sleep? I mean, all the things you do. So that's what amazes me, is how much it's all I could do to get home from basketball practice, and and look at the books for 10 minutes or whatever. But I'm just utterly amazed at how you fit all of this into a day's time. So once again, congratulations to all of you, and have a great evening.